Up we have Between Two Worlds from the Limbus Company soundtrack by Millie. This is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. You do not have to be a musician, a professionally trained musician, to understand what is happening. That is my goal, for me to explain things to you as I am a professionally trained musician, and I want to explain things to you as well as possible. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, you're liking the video, sharing, and all that good stuff. So yes, Megumi, welcome to today. Let's do this. Let's go. Okay, so we start off with a very nice, kind of like a chorale. These are very definitely, these might be live recorded, but we have this kind of sounds like a female chorus, kind of sounds like a child chorus. Very lovely, very well effect, and it sounds like a chorale. And there's only there seems to be 3 women and 1 male with a bass. There is some motif being given right now. Motif, of course, being the shortest, smallest version of your musical idea that you can have. So yes, let's see. Continue. A lot of dissonance. Oh, this is beautiful. So yeah, we're having this. The singer of Melikasiwe has a lot of range. Yes, so it would seem. So yes, this is absolutely beautiful. I love chorales. I am horrible at writing them. That's always been my weakest point. Lyrics and singing has always been my weakest point as a composer. So whenever I hear something like that, like this going on, it's very beautiful. We're going through a text. It's, you know, the art style is very unique. And right now we're having what is called a cappella. We're having a cappella singing. A cappella, which used to mean in a chapel, which just means it's just singing. Definitely one of the more difficult styles to do because of how easy it is for a human being to not hit the same note. Like, if you have a tuned guitar, you play a fret on a string and it's always going to hit that same note. It's fairly difficult for a human being to be able to sing like that and hit the notes accurately without that. Let's hear it. Very beautiful. And yes, something that you will notice a lot with choral music is that very often there's a lot of dissonance going on, and there's a lot of counterpoint going on. Counterpoint, of course, being the concept of multiple melodies working together that they would otherwise be independent. It's a very good way of just developing music, and in this case, we are seeing that the upper and lower voice are keeping a very steady, very lovely melody, and the 2 voices in the middle are constantly clashing with whatever's going on, and they're constantly at odds. They're constantly not harmonizing that well, which is very good for chorales. You want that kind of tension in chorales. You want that kind of dissonance a lot of the time because it builds up more. Because as I've said many times, right? When you're making music, you're doing one of 2 things. You are building tension or you are resolving it. There's tension and then there's resolution. And the middle point of that, of course, is your cadence. And in this case, with a lot of dissonance, there is a difference between something that is dissonant, something that is unstable. And right now we're using a lot of dissonance. These are the notes that sound way too close together. They sound like they shouldn't probably be there, but because the outer layers that we are having in this chorale, because they are keeping such a good job at singing the melody, singing the bass line, the other 2 being so close and clashing with one another, sounds good. This is one of the beauties of just adding more layers to these kind of things. Very, very good. Very nice. So yeah, we're having a lot of very lovely, and now that we switched over to a new section, it's a lot more consonant. In music, you will have a lot of times you will have consonance versus dissonance, and basically consonance is when your chords sound nice and they sound very well put together and all that kind of stuff, and the dissonance is what we were hearing just now with those middle voices clashing against one another constantly, and right now they're not. They are with one another. It's very, very nice. And we are introducing this dissonance still, but not as much. Oh, I love that when it comes to chorales. As I said, I am horrible at writing chorales. It's one of those things that I simply am not very good at. But right now we had one of the best things you can do with chorales, dude. It's this sense of uplifting when you have the vocals all singing upwards. The bass usually stays kind of doing the leaps and doing what is called the root note. Root note being the lowest note of the chord. But you have the other voices doing this uplifting sound. And something I'm liking a lot about this track so far has been the whole concept of there's always something clashing. There's always some sort of difference between the voices. There's always something against something else between two worlds, right? So it's either the middle voices clashing with one another, or there is some especially notorious counterpoint with the bass. It's very, very interesting. And these shorter... Oh. And I just noticed how high the high notes are really going. It's angelic. This is something, it's tricky to do this, especially because right now the chorus we're using is essentially 3 sopranos and a bass. Extremely, extremely risky. The art is wonderful, yeah. Extremely risky ensemble. The artwork looks incredible. This is a very, very pretty artwork, yes. So when it comes to a chorale, you usually want to have a soprano, an alto, a tenor, and a bass. This is the most standard version of your chorale, and it's divided. The soprano and altos are usually women. Tenor, bass is usually men. And in this case, you are having 3 sopranos, which the soprano is the higher range of the women's vocal range, which is already by itself pretty high, and then the bass. This is as far apart as it gets. Like the only more extreme would be if you have something like a basso profondo or a contra soprano. I don't remember the name of the one where it goes even further. Their range goes even further than that. So it's really, really interesting to see this ensemble with all the risks that it has because of just how much distance there is in the ranges between the sopranos and the bass. But this is giving it this whole ethereal, beyond this world vibe to this whole thing, because you're having the sopranos singing angelically up there as if it's you're just watching a bunch of angels from the sky in their own world, and you are here, down to earth, grounded, with the bass, and there's just this unimaginable distance, while the bass is still trying to keep up with what the sopranos are doing, and they just keep getting further and further and further away. This is really nice. Man, this is wild. How high this is going. And these motifs, these smaller motifs, oh god, it's so beautiful. These are very, very beautiful phrases happening. It's just insane how good this is. This is beautiful. Now we get a little bit closer. Oh! Complete change. We bring in the piano. We take everything. So, on top of that, now we completely swap everything between two worlds. Now we're in the realm of darkness, and oh my god. Complete change of scenery. Welcome back, Bill. Okay, there's a lot going on over here. So now, interesting how the piano is playing this, because the piano is here playing the range, filling up the gaps between the ranges, between the three sopranos and the bass. There's the piano playing that a little bit, and it's also playing lower than the bass, encompassing, kind of working as a link between these two sets. And there's a lot of call and response going on right now. There's a lot of call and response. There's call and response going between the piano and the sopranos and the bass and the bass of the piano. There's a lot going on right now. A call and response being one instrument or one line of whatever's going on musically does something, and another one immediately responds with something else, a call and a response. Say hello, welcome to today, man. How you doing? Doing great. Oh, and we change, and it's... So this was kind of like doing another intro. Excuse me, the water. So we had the first half was its own very, very lovely, almost encompassed... It was its own thing. It had its own structure. Now we went in and did an intro, and we're moving to an orchestra now. Play this too fast? No, we should be able to. Go ahead and request. What is this, near music? I know, right? So now we have the piano. We have the double basses now in the back. It's speeding up. And interestingly enough, now the voices are in tandem. The voices are acting together now. The voices are all together. They're singing the same thing now at the same time. No more counterpoint, no more everything. The orchestra is here, and now they're facing it together. Despite the fact that they were so far apart, now they are together in this thing. This is really nice. And it's speeding up. The percussion is doing a fantastic work. Oh, the dynamics. Oh my god, this is something I don't get to talk about enough. There is this concept in music called dynamics, or also known as dynamic range. When it comes to these in music, it's how loud or how quiet something gets. And something very beautiful to do especially when you have vocals. or an orchestra, very much in an orchestra, is to play with that. I've mentioned before, right, how if you're building a climax and it's very, very loud, a very powerful way to resolve that climax, to resolve that cadence, is to take everything away and go with a very soft piano. So when it comes to dynamic range, you go from what is called piano, which means soft, to forte, which means strong, loud. And, depending on the piece, you might have many of these going on. You might have 3 Ps, which is pianissimo, or 3 Fs, which is fortissimo. And you have this thing at the middle range, of course, is mezzo forte / mezzo piano, which is kind of loud, kind of quiet, that kind of thing. And what we're doing right now with the vocals is that we're doing back and forths. We're doing back and forth. So that's a horrible way to put it. So we're doing back and forth between strong and quiet, and it gives it, this sense of fading in and out and everything. It's such a beautiful thing to use. It's tricky to pull off if you don't compose this right, and if you don't execute it well enough, it is going to bring you a lot of trouble. That's just how the music is. Even if you mix it well and everything, it's very tricky. And dynamics are great. It's very difficult. In my background, since I listen mainly to metal, it's fairly tricky to implement dynamics in metal music because of how loud everything tends to be in that sense. Classical video game music, film music has more of a luxury in that sense, where you can fade things in and out. You can do these things. And there's a difference between an audio engineer turning the knob or the slider up and down of the volume of a vocalist, and a vocalist going from singing softly to loudly back to softly. And that is tone and timbre. That is the tone and timbre of things, and every instrument has that. For example, the French horn. The French horn is one of my favorite instruments. The French horn, as you can see, this very, very funny looking, almost trumpet thing. It's really epic when it's loud. It sounds epic when it's loud. It sounds glorious. It's bombastic. It's very, very present. But if you play this instrument quietly, it's elegant. It feels royal. It gives a very, very warm feeling to everything. And that's not something you can replicate by turning up or down the volume in post-production. This is something that you do by playing it soft or loud. So that's the difference between dynamics and volume. Dynamics are going to be how loud or how slow you're playing the instrument or singing, and volume is going to be the end result in the post-production. Of course, every music piece nowadays will usually have 3 steps. You will have, and most projects nowadays, pre-production, production, and post-production. And this is very standard. This is extremely standard when it comes to all this kind of stuff. J-Raz, welcome today. How you doing? It's very standard. Usually pre-production, it's planning stages. You're figuring out logistics. You're figuring out the composition, all that kind of stuff. Production is when you record everything. And post-production is usually the audio engineering. In my case, let me give you an example. One of my songs, pre-production, would be me figuring out the chords, writing down the lyrics, writing down anything I can, coming up with ideas. Production is when I sit down and I finally go in and record everything. I put in the vocals and the orchestral parts and everything, whatever I put in the song. And post-production is when I send my music to Jack Costo so that he mixes it up and makes it sound really good. That's it for that, right? And post-production, every single one of these steps is just as important as the previous one. Bad pre-production will result in poor production, which will result in poor post-production. Bad production gives post-production a nightmare to deal with. So you have to be able to balance out all of these 3 really, really well, or you're not going to make it. And this whole point was because of the difference between dynamics and volume. So there you go. So let me let's continue this. Let's continue. We've got a little over a minute left. Let's see. The percussion. Okay, and just like that, I was about to say, the percussion is doing such an interesting job of keeping the beat, and now we take it away. Again, when this happens, I love it when this happens. You have the percussion giving you something, the drums giving you a beat, keeping you down to earth, and the moment you take it off, it feels like you take off. It feels like now you're suspended up in the air, especially if you add like legato violins. Legato, it just means that you let them play the notes very, very long and everything. And you give them these long melodies and everything, and it just gives you this whole sense of now you're up and flying. It's very beautiful. And they're nailing it here. Really nailing it here. The counterpoint. And we're having again the now the dissonance is back within the chorus, within the chorale, and we are having these different lines happening, the counterpoint happening in the vocals while the orchestra is jumping back in. The percussion just kicked in again. Let's hear it. Mostly call and response that is happening in the vocals. Interesting. So whenever the percussion does something, the vocals comes back together to playing as a single unit, and the moment the percussion is out, they go back to like bickering against one another. This is really fun. This is really fun. Oh. Ooh. And again, we get the whole vibe change. This is beautiful. We started with just the a cappella, chorale, 4 voices. Then we introduced the piano. Then we bring in the orchestra. And now we're bringing electronic elements and a guitar. This is more than just 2 worlds colliding here. I love it. But then it's like, it's between. You're constantly in between. Okay. Oh, I like this. The doubling being made by the violins, keeping a very similar melody to what the vocals are doing, but faster. Doing a tremolo. Tremolo being when an instrument is playing the same note, or is playing the note by repeating the notes a lot. Da, 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 da. This is a really good song. Yeah, it's really fun. I like this. I like this. This like this is called. It doesn't like swing. And when it comes to swing, it's a usually you have your eighth notes. You can have them in triplets. So the difference between triplets and regular eighth notes. Eighth notes, ba 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 ba. Triplet, ba 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 ba. So it sounds like it's 3. And a fun thing is when you do swing and you want a rhythm like that, all you do is you delete the middle triplet. Ba 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 ba. It's tricky between a swing triplet and a 16th note swing. Very, very easy to mess up and mix up between the two, but it gives you that sense of erratic steps. It's really good. What do I pay him as well next? I don't know. We'll discuss that. I like this whole swing. Oh, back to the dynamics. Oh. And we're having the rhythms now. Oh, there you go. And the rhythms just went all over the place in those last couple of bars. Oh my god, that was wild. That was a wild ride. So much happening. I was worried that it was going to be 5 minutes of just chorale. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Such an interesting thing of constantly introducing more clashing elements to it. Very unexpected a lot of the time. A lot of the time it's just really unexpected. It was just really, really cool how it just you just kept feeling it. You were in between two of something. Like you were just in between. Like Between Two Worlds is the name of the track, right? So you're always feeling like you're in between something and something else. That was just really, really fun. Really fun. Hell yeah. That was really fun. Holy shit. There you have it. That was Between Two Worlds from the Limbus Company soundtrack, composed by Cassie Wei and Yamato Kasai, otherwise known as Millie, I assume. Very, very, very good. Very good piece. Had so many things. I'm glad we finally got to talk about dynamics. Really, really fun stuff, dude. Really fun stuff. Once again, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. My goal here is to explain things in a way that a layman can understand, so that you don't have to be a professionally trained musician to understand what's going on. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're following the lives and the Discord. Join the Discord. Share the video. We are very close to 500 subscribers at the time of this recording. We're like less than 10 people away, so I'm really, really happy about that. And yeah, if you want to request a song and you're not watching this on the live stream, if you're watching this on YouTube, just leave a comment with what you want me to do next. Game soundtracks only. Sadly, because of copyright. And yeah, there you go. That's good stuff. There you have it. Between Two Worlds, Limbus Company. Really, really fun. But yeah, let's move on.